you know, developing in a symmetrical fashion with the sculling stroke. But it's also a more sustainable path, I think, to keeping rowing with you your entire life. So we are just now flying into the starting blocks with our excellent drone today. There are 5 boats in this timed final, the first of 2 for our men's Novice 8 event. In lane 2, closest to the bottom of your screen, Sammamish. Lane 3, Bothell. Lane 4, Oregon. Lane 5, Everett. And lane 6, Green Lake. And as these boats start to find their alignment, you see the aligner's flag is up, that yellow flag at the top of your screen. All boats are in catch position. Hopefully they bury their blades before they hear that start. And they're off, folks. You are witnessing the start of the men's Novice 8, first of 2 timed finals. And a pretty quick start there from Sammamish, taking just a tiny lead early on. It looks like Green Lake has an early silver position. However, Everett is hot on their heels. So early race leaders right now. It's too close to call, though. I think between Sammamish and Green Lake. Green Lake and Sammamish, crosstown heroes on either side of the Seattle East Side, West Side rivalry. It looks like Green Lake has eked out a lead just by the smallest margin over Sammamish in lane 2. And I think in third right now, we are looking at Everett. Green Lake seems to be finding a really good rhythm. Definitely the highest rate of striking on the field, so we hope that that's a sustainable pace that they can keep. They're overstroking the other crews by 1 or 2 pips right now. Sammamish looking real solid with their rhythm. Definitely a lot of connection in the Sammamish boat. They're not clearing their puddles quite as well as the Green Lake boat is. But this is novice racing, folks, and I would just like to comment that for novice racers, this is a pretty high level caliber of sweep rowing that we're seeing from this Green Lake boat. Catches are all mostly getting in on time. Blade work looks on point. Hats off to that Green Lake crew. However, Sammamish is fighting to get back into that gold position. Sammamish is down by about a bow ball. And Everett is hanging tough in third. Everett has about 2 seats of contact with the Sammamish boat. But it looks like Sammamish is starting to push away just by the tiniest margin. Green Lake, in the meantime, has opened up their lead. Green Lake has about 2 seats of lead over Sammamish. Exciting stuff. If you're just joining us, we are witnessing the men's Novice 8, the first of 2 timed finals. That next time final will be a full 6-boat field. We have 5 boats that we are riding along with right now in this event. And if you're curious about results or schedules, go ahead and navigate your browser to herenow.com for all the results and schedules for the weekend. All right, we are looking at the Green Lake boat right now. Definitely see some height in this novice boat. They've got an engine room for sure. As I mentioned before, a little bit frantic on the stroke rate. They were the fastest stroke rated team that I saw earlier when we saw all the boats in the shot. So they are cooking. And it looks like they've got about a 3-seat lead over Sammamish. Sammamish has checked that charge. Sammamish also has some serious height in their engine room. I think I saw those lads walking with their boats earlier, and definitely some big novices that Sammamish has been able to cultivate. And they're putting in the work. They don't look quite as clean as the Green Lake crew, but you can tell that they are muscling it through the water right now. So we have Green Lake in the lead, almost by about 7 seats now. Green Lake really opening it up against Sammamish, who is in second, with Everett just hanging on to contact. They've got about a bow to stern deck overlap right now with Sammamish. So Green Lake in first, Sammamish in second, Everett in third with those wonderful high-vis hats. And just some overall great novice racing right now. Always exciting to see the foundations of our sport being grown. And this is perhaps the first time that any of these boats have raced in such high-stakes environments. A lot of nerves. I think we all in our novice year just are so nervous about the newness of the sport, the complexity of the technical aspects. There's a lot going through our minds. I see the bowman of Sammamish just looking over his shoulder there, trying to see how close they are to that Green Lake boat. It looks like Sammamish is making a move right now. They just took a seat on Green Lake. I think they just took another seat. Not sure if Green Lake is fading. That high stroke rate is tough to maintain. It takes a lot out of you. Your cardio really has to be on point to maintain a fast stroke rate like that. And I think Sammamish is starting to walk a little bit more. We'll see what this Sammamish boat has to say about Green Lake being in the lead. We're coming up on 5 minutes, and I see them approaching the 500-meter buoy. We're coming up on the beach with this race. And can Green Lake hold on to this lead? Everett, unfortunately, has been kicked out the back. There is about, it looked as though there were 2 or 3 seats open water between Everett and Sammamish. Meanwhile, Sammamish is continuing to charge on Green Lake. It looks like Green Lake is starting to feel the pain of that high stroke rate. Sammamish has taken their stroke rate up. They're starting to sprint way early. We'll see if Sammamish can maintain this, but I think Sammamish is walking, and if they continue this charge, they are going to get through Green Lake. Green Lake only has a couple seats lead now, but Green Lake looks like they are starting their finish. Maybe they were just biding their time. Hopefully Sammamish did not burn out and get their sprint in too early, because now that Green Lake is bringing it up, they have checked that Sammamish charge. We'll see what's going to happen. It looks like Green Lake will bring in the gold if they keep it up. Sammamish charged back on Green Lake, but not quite enough, and it looks like Green Lake is starting to walk on Sammamish now. Green Lake took one look at Sammamish's charge and thought, we'll see if you can maintain that. But now it seems like Sammamish has found something extra, a second or third win from Sammamish. They're hungry. And final 10 to 15 strokes now in the race. Sammamish is really winding up the gears. I don't think it'll be enough. I think Green Lake is just going to get it. And it looks like Green Lake unofficially for the win in a small margin. I think they got it by a couple seats. Everett just about to finish up that race, a few seconds behind. Congratulations unofficially to Green Lake for the win. Sammamish for a hard-fought second. I thought that they were going to get him. And Everett for bronze. Green Lake pulling in with a time of 6:45.1. Wow, off of Sammamish's 6:46.2. My goodness. That was a very close race for these novice boats. I thought Sammamish was going to pull something out, but, you know, just it's tough to pull that all together and make it stick. And Sammamish, I think, learned a lot in that race, as did Green Lake, hopefully. And we just got our 4th place boat finishing the line. I think that was Oregon. And we are waiting on the last boat for the conclusion of our first timed final for the men's Novice 8. Well done to all those boats. Everett taking the bronze with an unofficial 6:57. And coming up next, we just started the men's Novice 8 second timed final. That is 30 seconds underway as we await our unofficial times for the last boat that just crossed the line. Congratulations, Oregon, on their 4th place in at 7:30, with Bothell finishing 5th in that first timed final. We are now riding along with the lads of the second timed final for the men's Novice 8 event. In lane 1, closest to the bottom of your screen, we've got Sammamish. Lane 2, Green Lake C. Lane 3, Rose City. Lane 4, Green Lake B. Lane 5, Sammamish B. And lane 6, Mount Baker. And it looks like an early lead from Sammamish B up there in lane 5. They've got a little bit of open water over the rest of the field. Rocking with the old school Sammamish blades. Sammamish recently changed their design on their blades to a stylized S with a white backdrop, whereas their previous blades that we're seeing with the throwback Novice boat here to the left of your screen have the navy blue and red with the diagonal white line on their oars. And we are seeing some fun racing happening for silver position. I think I am looking at, I think that is Mount Baker duking it out with Rose City for silver. Also in the mix is the other Sammamish boat in lane 1, not far off that Rose City boat. Rose City just barely holding on to second right now. They've got about half a deck over the boys from Mount Baker. I think Mount Baker just got walked through, though, by the Sammamish, the first Sammamish boat. No, that's Sammamish C, sorry, in lane 1. Just coming up on Rose City, it looks like Sammamish C and Rose City are tied for silver. That Sammamish B boat in lane 5, still in the win. Still leading by, goodness gracious. I count, I think about 2.5 boat lengths open water. Wow. That Sammamish B boat up in lane 5 has found something good. And they are ticking along. Some great rhythm here. Some great synchronicity from this Sammamish boat. Fantastic rowing for novices. This is really clean. Almost clearing their puddles. And it's just another day at the office for these boys. This is drama-free rowing at its best. They're just putting in the work. And as novices, you really just want to be doing the same thing at the same time as everybody else, and you will find success. And this Sammamish boat, I think, is exemplifying that in a big way. Also to keep in mind is that these coxswains are novices too. So this is their first time, their first season really making calls, steering down a course. Obviously some differences from head racing season, trying to keep these boats all in a straight line. It looks like Sammamish C from lane number 1 has taken silver position. So we've got Sammamish B in first, Sammamish C in second, and Rose City right now is in bronze medal position with about 2 seats lead over Mount Baker in fourth. And it looks like Green Lake B in lane 4 has been spat out the back with a little bit of open water between them and Mount Baker. That Sammamish C boat starting to find some speed, walking away from Rose City. And this Sammamish C boat rowing very well too. Some great novice rowing on display today. And just a reminder to folks on the beach, if you are on the beach, please keep your head on a swivel. We have boats that are coming in. Please be sure to listen to the volunteers and officials. Watch your heads for any oars or oarlocks or bow balls that might be on a collision course. All right, we are 5 minutes into our race here, riding along with the men's Novice 8, second of 2 timed finals. In the lead, Sammamish B from lane 5, having a great row. They have so much open water. I'm going to count that as like 5 or 6 boat lengths open. Just a tremendous lead that they've opened up over their Sammamish counterparts. Sammamish C in lane 1 is in strong silver medal position right now. Tiny bit of open water between them. And Rose City holds third right now, but not by much. Rose City holds third, but not by much over Mount Baker in fourth. Mount Baker, it looks like, is trying to claw their way into that bronze medal position, but having a tough time of it. Seeing some ripples through the boat of Mount Baker, it looks like there are some missed strokes that are happening. Always tough to to coordinate an 8 when there are nerves and jitters going on. That might be the case in that boat. We don't know. But as these boats approach the final finish here, we see that Sammamish boat from lane 5. Sammamish B right now coming up to the final pylons, cruising in their black boat, ripping and roaring up to their final sprint. Nice job to these boys from Sammamish. Really great novice rowing that we see. And as this Sammamish boat intersects the path of some migratory birds flying overhead, they're about 100 meters away from finishing this race. Great drone shot here of these lads from Sammamish. All right, public service announcement, folks. Public service announcement for anybody at the beach. If you are the owner of a Lexus with Oregon plates parked to the south end of the lot by the boat access point, we have a Lexus that is blocking some boats. License plate number 478 MHZ 478 megahertz on this Oregon license plate. If you are the driver of a Lexus with Oregon plates 478 MHZ on that license plate, we need you to move your vehicle. You are in danger of being towed. So if you know anybody from Oregon with a Lexus that's parked over by the south boat access area, please move your vehicle, or we will find some rowers with nothing to do that would love to move your vehicle for you. All right, and our times from that last race, the men's novice 8, second timed final. Sammamish with a, boy oh boy, so fast, 7:05 for an unofficial gold. Sammamish C takes a 7:35 for silver, and Rose City managed to get that bronze from Mount Baker. Mount Baker finishing 4th. Well done to all those crews. Green Lake B finishing 5th with a 7:50. And it looks like we are now riding up with the next race. We are 2 minutes in to the women's novice 8, first of 2 timed finals. Lane number 2, Sammamish. Lane 3, Rose City. Lane 4, Holy Names. Lane 5, Mount Baker. Lane 6, Green Lake. And right now, as we fly overhead with the drone, we're seeing the Sammamish boat in the lower lane having a little bit of tough time staying in their lane. They were brushing some buoys down there in lane 2 for a quick second. Our race leader right now in Green Lake up in lane 6. Green Lake with the open water lead over the rest of the field. I think Mount Baker is in 2nd, and I am seeing Rose City in 3rd right now.
I'm so happy for them.
Love the call.
All right, folks, we have some speed to be seen with the Green Lake Novice Women's 8 up there at the top of the screen in lane 6. They're crushing it. They've got about a half boat length open right now. Over Mount Baker. Mount Baker in silver in lane 5. Rose City in 3rd. Rose City does look like they're starting to move, though. I'm wondering if Rose City is trying to come back on Mount Baker. It looks like they've got about a deck overlap. And Rose City is starting to find something here. Meanwhile, that Green Lake crew in lane 6 just can't be stopped. They are opening up that lead more and more with every stroke. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to catch them now as we cruise into the 4-minute, 15-second mark. Such great drone footage that we're getting on this field right now. Beautiful setting here at Vancouver Lake. So grateful that we can share these shots with you out in YouTube land. And it looks like we've got a more stable feed yesterday. We were figuring stuff out yesterday, troubleshooting the first ever Northwest Youth Regional Championship Regatta to be live streamed on the YouTube. And here we're riding along with lane 6, our women's novice 8 gold medal position right now from Green Lake in Seattle. And a lot of length in this crew right here. You see that they're all reaching and extending to the utmost, gobbling up as much water as they can with their catch. However, there is some asynchronous catching going on, making it a little bit hard to find that perfect rhythm. But once their blades are in the water, they are all driving together, which is great to see and has in no doubt contributed to the lead that they have today. So again, we've got Green Lake, the race leaders right now, followed by Mount Baker with Rose City in 3rd. And it looks like that's the way it's going to be. I'm not seeing too much contention from Sammamish in 4th. And it looks as though Holy Names in lane 4 has been spat out the back. Regardless, great valuable racing opportunities for all the athletes on the field today. Coming up next will be the second timed final of our women's novice 8 category. Another 5 boats to throw down for that. Starting momentarily here as we start to see the finish, the final sprints of these women's novice 8s that are on the track right now. Coming into the pylons, we see the phones and the binoculars going up of the spectators on the beach. And just a friendly shout out to our spectators. Please make room for boats and oars and volunteers that need access to these beaches as we launch and as we disembark from the water. All right, and Green Lake in lane 6, still with a commanding lead over the rest of the field here. Just a terrific row from Green Lake. And they have found the rhythm through the sprint. Their rhythm has cleaned up as they sprint more. It seems like this boat was made for the higher gears because they've definitely pulled it together more as they ratchet up for the sprint. As I mentioned before, a lot of length, a lot of reach in this boat. They're definitely going for every inch of water that they can catch into. And right behind them, coming up, it does look like the field has closed a little bit for 3rd and 4th position. Such great novice rowing that we're seeing here today. Congratulations, Green Lake, with their unofficial win. Viewing now the finish line camera, I'm excited to see where Rose City and Mount Baker ended up. It looks like Mount Baker did indeed get 2nd, and Rose City getting the 3rd. However, in 4th, wow, Sammamish really caught up, but not quite enough runway for Sammamish to overtake Rose City. Sammamish definitely came back on Rose City by a substantial margin. Uh-oh, it looks like we do have, oh, somebody got a crab right before the finish line. Heartbreak Central. Yeah, that was a boat stopper crab for our last boat that's about to cross the finish line, I think from Holy Names. Tough break for Holy Names. They were starting to pour on the speed, and then I'm not sure. I think it was somebody in the bow of the boat. Somebody in bow 4, I think, caught a crab. I just saw the end of it as they were able to recover, but killed all their speed. You hate to see it. But that is racing. That is rowing. That is racing. And it keeps the spectators entertained, at least. And coming up next, we have the second timed final of the women's Novice 8 category. In lane 2 for that will be Everett, lane 3 Mount Baker B, lane 4 Rose City, lane 5 Sammamish B, and lane 6 Sammamish B. Or sorry, Green Lake B. And after this race, we will be having the 2V quads. 2V men's and women's quads will be coming up after this race. And we are hanging out at the start line right now with our second timed final for the women's Novice 8 event. All right, and we are underway. Just started our women's Novice 8 second timed final. Each of these timed finals having their own respective medals to be earned. And right off the bat, it's a pretty tight field. Seeing some early speed off the line from Everett, who might just have a bow ball lead over Green Lake B. It looks like the third place position is held by Sammamish up in lane 5. But still anyone's race to win, or lose for that matter. And all around, some really clean novice rowing right now. Excellent racing so far. I think we are tracking Everett with an early lead. Yeah, it looks like Everett has an early lead over Green Lake B. Not by much, though. Green Lake is only back by a quarter deck, barely a bow ball separating these top crews. And it looks like Green Lake is starting to see their lead diminished, however, by the Sammamish boat right next to them. Sammamish in third, starting to claw back on Green Lake. We'll see what comes of it. In the meantime, Everett finding their rhythm and starting to open up that gap on the rest of the field. Everett now with about half a boat length over Green Lake. So Everett in first, Green Lake in second, and Sammamish in third right now. Some pretty big programs. We've seen a lot of representation from them. Their novice classes have been huge. So we'll see where they're going to go. Oh, and where is this? Oh, my goodness. We almost had lane 2. We almost had Everett completely out of their lane for a second. And they lost some speed from that, and I think they lost the lead. Yeah. Green Lake used that moment to their advantage. Green Lake is now up ahead by about a deck. As Everett was correcting their course, it looks like they got shaken a little bit. Their confidence in the rhythm slightly jarred by that maneuvering that they had to do. However, they're finding their speed again, and I think that they are holding firm. Green Lake, however, is now in the lead. Green Lake 1, Everett 2, and Sammamish is still hanging back in 3 for those gold, silver, and bronze positions. And coming up on the 3-minute mark of this women's Novice 8 timed final, our positions seem to be staying locked in fairly consistently here. Green Lake took that early advantage from Everett, who had some steering issues, trying to stay in their lane. And during that moment of confusion, Green Lake said, "The time is now," and seized the advantage. Sammamish, meanwhile, still in third. Open water between them and the first two boats. So we might see a race to the finish here for gold, depending on what Everett and Green Lake end up doing. It looks like Everett will have to put in some work, though, because Green Lake, it seems, has found some great rhythm, some great speed, and is starting to walk. Green Lake is starting to walk away. Looks like Green Lake now has about 7 seats up on Everett. And Everett might be fading because it seems as though Sammamish is either clawing their way back or Everett is losing steam. Sammamish might be in silver medal contention before too long here. All right, and Green Lake now with a commanding open water lead over second and third. Green Lake just putting in the work. Friendly reminder, if you have won some medals today, come pick them up at the awards tent. Come pick up your medals at the awards tent. We've got shiny hardware to bestow. Why go to Home Depot or Lowe's when you can become a rower and get hardware here? All right, and Sammamish still in third. It looks as though Everett has checked that charge that Sammamish tried to put on halfway through that course. Coming up on 5.5 minutes into this race, and Green Lake is maintaining their lead. They're not walking, however. Everett, as you recall, led the field to start, but had some strange steering going on and was never able to quite recover. As I mentioned earlier, there is the novice coxswain element to be had here. Not only are these rowers novices, but the coxswains are too. So making calls while steering, while executing a race plan, it's a lot. And it's a lot to maintain in one's brain as you've got 8 bodies in front of you, putting in so much work, expending so much energy, maintaining a calm, cool demeanor as well through that. It's not easy. The coxswain's job is arguably the hardest in the boat. However, Everett is still in second. It looks like Sammamish has not been able to claw their way back on them. Green Lake still in a firm lead with slight open water. Looks like Green Lake will be coming into the lead for our last quarter of this race. Such a great drone shot here, as we see Green Lake to the left of your screen in the lead. Everett at the bottom of your screen in second. And Sammamish in third. Really hanging tough, this Sammamish boat. You can tell they're hungry. They've been trying to overtake this Everett boat the entire race to no avail. But now they can hear the screams and cheers of the crowd. And we'll see if they can do anything about it. We're riding along with the Green Lake vessel right now. And you can tell there's so much effort being expended by this Green Lake boat. You know, in some novices' world, this might be the hardest that they have ever worked in their entire lives. So giving it up to the amount of determination and fortitude that these athletes are putting on the line right now to send their boat home. I remember my novice year. I had never worked so hard in my life, and I'm sure that that can be said of many rowers, but especially what we're seeing now. Oh my goodness, these pain faces letting you know that there's so much work being done. Everett hot on the heels. It looks like Everett did close the gap just a tiny bit on Green Lake, but I think it's too little too late. Everett started to put on some speed, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to catch up to the line and catch up to Green Lake. Sammamish too starting their finish. Not enough sprint in it though to overtake the Everett crew. There you have it, unofficially Green Lake for the win. Congratulations, Green Lake. Unofficial time of 8 minutes, .6. Followed by Everett. I think just a few seconds off of them. Yep, with an 8:06.4 for Everett unofficial time. Congrats on that silver. And Sammamish came in third by my estimation with an 8:08, it looks like, unofficially on the clock. Congratulations, Green Lake, Everett, and Sammamish on some hard-fought racing. And here we have Mount Baker coming into the finish. Nicely done, Mount Baker, and Rose City closing out the field behind them. Fantastic novice racing today. Well done to all of our novices. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for trying our sport. We hope you stick around. We'll see you in years to come. Novice racing, always so exciting. And there we go, Rose City. Nicely done, all crews on the field. All right, coming up next, our 2V quad events. We've got the men's 2V quad final.